Public. Well, hey.
Look at that, eh? There you
Hey.
go. Just showed up. Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, stop.
I can't help it. It's just got to be done.
Hey everyone, Sam back once again.
So what I'll do now is I'll make that the featured video on my channel.
Now, okay.
There we go. So I'm just going to tweet out.
Look at all these live streams that have popped up in my fucking box here. Holy, 3 of them. And one of them only says live now.
Hooray! Hooray! Anyway, I just tweeted it out, so if you want to retweet that one.
Yeah, I'm...
Well, that's got the link anyway, so if you want to use that link.
Yeah, I've got the link. I got the link.
Cool.
Alright, so...
Yeah, hey everybody, if anyone's watching right now, I don't really know yet, because it's hard to try and view on this one. It's a bit different than the normal one I use. Ah, there we go. I think we're getting a couple of people coming in.
Okay.
So it says it won't work. It should be working. You should be seeing both myself and Jared from the Smoking Android, which should be side by side, or he's below me now. And when he talks, he will come on screen. And he's going to talk.
Hi.
Hi.
Does it not show them? Does it not show them at least like a little mini screen of me, or?
Yeah, basically, you know, like we've got it. We've got me on the top now, and then both of us underneath.
Yeah.
That's how it is on the YouTube channel as well. But it's just
Okay.
making sure that it's all there. That's all.
All right. All right.
So yeah, hopefully
Cool.
people can finally see it. It's hard to judge it with because this one don't update as quick. Matson is in Matson is in the in his house, as they call it. I know, Matt. Oh my God, it's samjpullen. It's crazy. But yeah, this is basically this kind of in a way kind of a test, really, isn't it, Jared, as to what could
Yeah.
potentially come in the future.
Yeah.
I promised I was going to do a live stream tonight, and yeah, I had technical difficulties on the other side, so I'm using Google Hangouts instead. And I said to Jared, "Do you wanna pop in, come say hi?" And yeah, so if you don't know who he is, he'll introduce himself now. He'll tell you what he does and whatnot.
What's up to the 2 people that ever actually watch Sam? My name's Jared, and I'm from the Smoking Android, a channel much like Sam's, except as far as mobile tech is concerned, I prefer the Android end of things, as I'm sure you can tell by the name of my channel. I also like doing ROMs and stuff like that, and mucking around with my phone and breaking it and complaining to Samsung later on.
Basically, yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much like everyone does.
Yeah, pretty much. If I root my phone, it's bricked now. What are you going to do to replace it? Oh, sir, your warranty's now void. What?
Pretty much. What you want to do, Jared, as well, is put your Twitter handle on it as well if you can.
Oh, okay. I suppose we could do that too.
Like, just put at the Smoking Android, because then people know both it's YouTube and here as well. But yeah,
All right, quit rushing me.
I think we've currently got about 12 people in the room, or 12 people watching it on technically a live stream, but obviously in here as well. So yeah, if you've got any questions for both me or Jared, if you're from me or if you've come from Jared posting out as well, tell us where you're from. Got any questions or anything else, just leave those comments, and yeah, we shall answer them accordingly. Yes, and I know Roy. I had Roy on Twitter going, "Sam, where's the live stream? Sam, where's the live stream?" Yes, Roy, I was doing my best to get up and running, so I didn't reply to you, but yeah, there we go. Anyway, we're up and running now anyway, so it's all good. It's all good.
It's all good in the hood.
You know it. But yeah.
So, in other news, there was a video. I don't know if any of you guys follow SourceFed.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. They do some pretty funny videos, right? Well, they had one today about a man who lost his, I don't know what part of the world he was in, but I guess he lost his nose to cancer. And so the doctors made a glass fabrication of his nose and obviously put some stem cells on it, started growing and stuff, but they put it on his arm. So he's growing his new nose on his arm. And, I mean, so that was pretty cool and interesting, science, yada, yada, yada. But the question at the end of the video was, if you could grow any body part, what would it be? And the first thing that popped into my head was a vagina. I would grow a vagina on my hand. Awesome, right? Then somebody said, and you know, and a lot of people got a kick out of that. They gave it a bunch of thumbs up. And then somebody said, yeah, but you know, what about like job interviews and stuff? I'm like, well, you know, I shake hands with my right hand, so I would probably just grow it on my left hand to avoid the awkwardness, you know. I don't know. Someone's like, and then someone's like, why don't you just grow a girlfriend out of it? I'm like, is that a trick question? No thanks.
You see, right? I gotta love this. We're like, oh yeah, he's from the Smoking Android, does Android videos. Have you heard about the vagina on the hand?
Yeah. Then people will be like, oh, does the curtains match the drapes? I'd be like, I don't know, what do you think? Or it's like if they see your hand, be like, quit staring at me. Anyways, all right, that's non-tech related.
that is a weird conversation to have on here.
I just thought it was really fun, and I really wanted to bring that up. So,
yeah,
on a lighter note, I don't know, Sam, if we've ever actually shown you this. I got some of my own actual Android swag.
Ah, no, man.
Check that out. Oh, cookie jar. Pretty neat, eh?
Cool, that's pretty nifty, is that? I like that.
I'm wondering if I should do a review on it. Just like how many cookies it fits. Like, check this out. You know, this the cookie capacity of
what
this
you want to
jar.
do? See how many phones it can fit.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see. So we've got the Nexus 4. We've got Galaxy S3. I've got an Atrix that I can throw in there. So this is what it looks like with that many phones in it.
Oh, we're going to have plenty of phones in there.
So we've got plenty of phones, plenty of phones. Now all I need to do is drill a hole in the bottom to make easy access for charging ports, and we're golden.
Well, what you want to do is you want to try and get a wireless charging in the bottom of it. Wireless charging phones.
That's a great idea. Just toss them all in there and it just wirelessly charges. How friggin' cool would that be?
Yeah, Jack Macron in the chat's like, WFT, I've clicked. What have I clicked on? Vaginas on hand. What?
And Sam's subscribers count starts going down.
Yeah, this is where I'm like, this is going to catch up to me is by making people unsubscribe.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, I'm not too sure about that anymore.
So I've got a question for you, Sam. Your Nexus 4, are you still using it as a daily driver, or is that sort of become your Galaxy S3 again?
Galaxy S3 is my daily driver.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Okay. Any particular reason why?
Mainly because of the two things that I kind of said in my videos, that the battery life. You know, I know I'm probably going to root it, but the camera as well. I will find myself having to basically take the picture 4 or 5 times to get one picture.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
In good conditions, like good lighting and whatnot, it's bloody awesome. But if it's a little dim or something not too right about it, I have to take more than one. It's like, and I shouldn't have to do that. I should take one picture, job done.
Yeah.
You know, that's one thing I will say that's always good about the iPhone. It's always got a good camera. It always gets that picture pretty much 9 times out of 10. It's got a good picture.
Yeah.
Galaxy S3 is very similar. Take the picture, it works.
Yeah.
Nexus 4, it's no.
Yeah.
Oh, blurry.
Delete. Yeah, exactly.
The autofocus just seemed really poor and just didn't seem good enough. I wasn't happy with it, basically.
Yeah. No, I'm going to have to agree with you. And quite honestly, like now, as far as performance is concerned between the two phones, and a lot of people have been actually asking me this question, you know, because I mean, like at the moment, these really are, aside from even the Note 2 and some other newer devices like, you know, the fucking HTC DNA and so on.
Yeah. These
two devices are the most popular devices right now, even
definitely.
in 2013.
It's kind of why I did a video basically on which one should be, which would I choose.
Yeah.
And if it had better battery life and the camera was better, I mean, you've done the Optimus G, haven't you?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
What's the difference between the Optimus G and the Nexus 4 for you? which would you choose? I know you like your
honestly,
stock Android, but
okay, so this was my thing. First of all, I'm, like being a tech guy, and I'm sure you can appreciate where I'm coming from with regards to this. Being a tech guy, you want to always have the latest, especially if it's software. Hardware alone, I mean, I could have an old-ass HTC Hero, as long as it's running, and as long as it's capable of running Android 4.2.1, I would go for that. But so the constant updates, like always staying on the bleeding edge of Android, is, I mean, like, if you don't have a Galaxy Nexus, if I had a Galaxy Nexus, I probably wouldn't have gotten the Nexus 4, to be completely honest with you. Because if I had the money, I'd get the Optimus G. There's already ROMs out there that you can flash to the Optimus G, which turns it back into a Nexus 4. So I mean, you would essentially have a Nexus 4, but with... See, this is the thing, though. If you were to flash stock Android 4.2.1 onto an Optimus G, I wonder if you would still get the same quality, with like the camera and stuff like that, because like you said, the camera on the Nexus 4, the Optimus G, however, when I did that review and I did some test footage, people were like, "Wow, it looks amazing! It sounds amazing." I thought it was great.
With the audio, I mean, don't get me wrong, the audio on the Nexus 4 is pretty good.
Yes,
I remember hearing the audio on the Optimus G, and I was like, "Bloody hell, like that!" It was very impressive. The
substantially,
audio,
yeah. And in fact, the Nexus 4's audio during video is what I found, at least in and I don't want to, like, for lack of better words, like lower tone situations, like bassier situations, I would notice some distortion, right? So it'd be like that, like kind of a weird noise, and I didn't really like that. I never noticed it on the Optimus G, and furthermore, the Optimus G's battery life, you're getting at least 4 to 5 hours extra above what the Nexus 4 is capable of doing.
That's the confusing thing, because everyone keeps going, "Oh, you've got a hardware problem." No, I believe the fundamental problem is Android 4.2.1. I agree. I honestly think it's the software. Truly believe. That's why because I mean, as example, on the Nexus 4, if you use a third-party camera application like Camera 360, it takes better pictures using that than it does the stock software.
Yeah. It's weird how that happens. I think they've dropped, because there isn't enough people out right now, like just users aside from tech reviewers and stuff like that. There isn't enough just regular folks that have had a chance to get 4.2.1 in their hands to really see, like, wow, it's chewing my battery life.
The only thing is that I tell you, most people that leave comments on YouTube and speak to, they're all like, "Yeah, but it's a developer phone. It's not meant to be for the masses."
So wrong.
I say bollocks to that, just for the fact they wouldn't sell it to the mass public the way they do it. They wouldn't advertise it on TV. They wouldn't hide developer options. They wouldn't push it as a brand of Nexus and sell all these different types if it wasn't for a consumer.
Yeah, and actually, I think that I put this in my review that I'll have out soon. I think that the hiding of developer options is kind of a dead giveaway that the Nexus become a mainstream device. Exactly. They don't want users to adopt this phone, like new users, right? Because I would, like, if someone's coming from iPhone, even like my parents. I mean, shoot, my wife's parents, I even said, "Let's get you a Nexus device." It was the Galaxy Nexus, but it's simplistic enough for him to learn and get familiar with Android and use it and love it.
Another one is they wouldn't have sold like the Nexus X, Nexus S on Sprint, the Galaxy Nexus on Verizon, the Nexus 4 on T-Mobile. In America, this is. In England, you can now buy the Nexus 4 on 3. I believe 3 are selling it. There's some other networks that are selling it, like they kind of buy the phone and then sell it on a network. Yeah. But Google wouldn't allow that if it wasn't a consumer device.
Agreed. Totally. Yeah, no, it's they hid those options, man. They're like, we don't need some person who just picked up Android to go, "Oh, what's this, developer options?" And then they just start ticking things off, and then they're like, "Why aren't my apps running properly?" And it's like, facepalm, Exactly. So I think that although I do really enjoy my Nexus 4, I think that they kind of dropped the ball on this one. Not only with the availability, I mean, this whole thing about the Nexus 4 has just been a complete shit show. Like, the checkout system, it's Google. They own the internet. They own, like, miles of servers. They should have been able to handle the demand. The lack of availability is absolutely ridiculous. That's so stupid.
Yeah.
And then,
apparently,
of course,
LG are blaming that on Google, though. LG are saying that Google just didn't order enough. It's not we can't produce them.
Well, they're
Google's
pointing
too
fingers at
modern,
each
innit?
other. They're pointing fingers at each other because Google's saying, well, LG isn't able to keep up with the unexpected demand. Wait a minute, Google. You're telling me, okay, first of all, Google and LG, this is me talking both of them. You're telling me that after the insane success of the Galaxy Nexus, that you didn't think there was going to be a huge demand for the Nexus 4 that you hyped up with the
And
latest
it's
version
even
of Android?
cheaper.
And it's even cheaper. I mean, it's unlocked, and it's the cheapest premium phone in the world, short of buying something secondhand. You know what I mean? Like, that's like selling a friggin' Mercedes-Benz for $10,000. You know, being like, hey, hey, here you go. Everyone's gonna be jumping
I
on
know
it.
exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you
Unbelievable.
mean.
I mean, you look at Samsung with their Galaxy S3, and this is kind of where I'm comparing it. Samsung was smart. Before they even released the device to the public, they had over, not granted, it was an estimated like 9 million already pre-orders, but the fact of the matter is that they were able to provide those 9 million units on launch day to those people that pre-ordered them.
Basically, and for as many people who would like to say Apple suck, Apple rubbish, I hate Apple, blah blah blah. If everyone followed the Apple model, they would be more successful.
Oh, very
Samsung
true. Yeah.
have done that. They do the pre-orders. Why do you think they sell so many iPads? Because they make a massive media event about it and then go, do you want to buy one? You can't have it today, you can have it in a week and a half, but you can pre-order it today and you're guaranteed to get it on that day as long as you order it today. Whereas other devices, I mean, the Galaxy S3 launch in the UK was crap. It was probably one of the worst launches I've ever heard of.
Really?
Anything special. No one gave a shit about it, to be completely blunt about it.
Yeah.
I did because I'm like, oh my word, Galaxy, because I like my Samsung Galaxy devices.
Yeah.
Whereas the iPhone, queues. But because no one basically put that thought and effort into that, the Galaxy S4 should be different because now Samsung have got the iPhone-esque about them in terms of the way they market it towards their consumers. It's a premium product. No one else seems to do that. They're just like, well, it might be available here. It's released on this day, but you might be able to get it then. I don't know yet. He's like, you've done it wrong. Tell me I can get it on the 5th of December. I will go to that shop. I will order it.
Yeah.
If I can't buy it, then what's the point?
Exactly. And in 3 months from now, when Google starts or rumors start swirling around the Nexus 5 or whatever, I mean, LG, it's interesting because LG, I think, this was a big chance for them. This was their break. This was their opportunity to really shine because all previous LG devices, with the exception of maybe one or two that I've actually played with in the past, they've been shit. Oh, most of their devices, people laugh at their devices. They haven't impressed anybody. And then they came out with the Optimus G, and people were like, it's pretty sweet. And then they came out with the next... Which one?
Although, did you... No, I'm not about any phones, but did you hear about the news that came out today? That
woke up 4 hours ago.
Basically, so you didn't you? Basically, LG are now the second biggest seller of mobile phones in the USA. They've now overtaken Apple again.
That's right, Apple again. So LG is in spot number 2. Well, Samsung number 1, LG number 2. But did you know that that's only by 1% margin?
Yeah, but I want to know who the hell's buying these LG phones.
Yeah, that's a good point. It was it's their lower all of their lower class devices are being eaten up, and then when they released the Optimus G, oh man, what was the statistic? Like the last quarter of 2012, they sold like 1 million Optimus Gs,
which seems good, but then when you consider that someone like Apple sells 5 million in the first weekend, it doesn't seem so good.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, like, even though LG has taken somehow with some strange mathematical formula second place,
I don't get how, because I was watching the Pocket Now live show earlier, and they were saying, I mean, I don't live in America. I don't know what all the LG phones are. I know the big ones, like I know that crap, that really ugly-looking one that were a big one meant to be compared to the Note. It was rubbish.
Oh yeah.
It's like the View or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was the View. Yeah.
And then I know the Optimus G. But I could not name another LG phone. In the UK, I couldn't name any LG phones that are currently on the market.
Yeah, I mean they tried to make a splash with, and this was the fucked up part, okay? LG, like, I actually have a working relationship with LG Canada out here. Now the thing is, because LG sells and makes such shitty, lame phones, they're like, oh hey, we've got this awesome LG L5. Now, I don't know if anybody in the chat's familiar with their L series of devices, but I think like the best one they have is either, what was like the L7 or L9 or something like that. I don't even know if there's an L9, but I got the L5. And they were really excited about it because this was one of the first devices that they were actually showing off that quick memo functionality to it.
Yeah, now
which I think's okay, but
Samsung sell their phones on these features that, honestly, I don't use them all. But when I first got it, and I could show people it, and I did videos, and I'm like, wow, look at the motion controls.
Yeah.
I use those. The only one I use now is the swipe to capture.
Yeah.
I don't use any of the other ones.
No, me neither.
As cool as they are,
yeah.
I don't write a text message and go, actually, I'm not going to write a text message. I'm just going to call somebody.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I'm going to finish my text message.
I've never once been in a situation, and that's right. You know, like I love, and it's interesting. I think that aside from like obviously the companies like Samsung and LG and whatever trying to make their money off of a non-Nexus phone, it's the software that you're actually paying for in the end, these cool extra features, right? It's kind of like purchasing Windows, you know what I mean? You're not purchasing your computer, you're purchasing the software, all the work they put into it. Now, Samsung with their S3 or even the Note 2, they've done some really cool advancements. They've packed some pretty cool features in there, like, you know, all the motion controls. But the problem is that no matter how cool they are, how often do we really use them?
I mean,
the tap to the top of the phone to get the top of the list, never once.
That only works in Samsung applications.
Yeah, if they could integrate it somehow with all apps, like if I was in, you know...
They basically, I mean, I think they've got an SDK for it, so developers can use it. But how many developers are going to go, well, I've created a brand new application, I'm going to have to stick it in just for Samsung phones?
Exactly, just for Samsung.
Phones are out there as well. You know,
Just it's too much work, it's a waste of time. It's never going to happen,
It's like the Smart Stay. As cool as a Smart Stay is, you know, I've never once got to the point where it's like, make sure you don't turn off.
I used it for probably the first month, and I was pretty amazed with it. And there was also some other like third-party applications that, in my opinion, actually worked a little bit better than the Samsung-built one. However, I'll be honest with you, that's another one of those cool features that, like, in theory, is awesome and would work perfect if there was better camera technology. I mean, like, those front-facing cameras is what you're relying on to detect your eyes being open. Exactly. And if you have just the slight, and everybody knows that no matter how good of a camera you pack in a smartphone, it's just not, they all suffer from the same low lighting issues. And if you have just the wrong amount of lighting going on, then it's not going to pick up your eyes. Now you're relying on this stupid Smart Stay feature to keep your phone on, but it's not working. Yeah. And I found that half the time I was staring at that bloody icon. So when I see it flash going, oh, it's checking for your eyes, I'm like, don't turn off, which defeats the whole purpose of the thing.
Don't turn it off. Shit, it turned off.
Yeah, it turned off. Now I got to press it again. So I mean, it's like you may as well just turn it off, and then as soon as you see your screen starting to dim, just tap the screen again.
Another one is S-Beam. S-Beam's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Theory, but not everyone's got a Galaxy device.
No, exactly.
That's the problem.
And they're making all these, Samsung's really going out of the way, I think. Actually, a lot of manufacturers these days, but more specifically Samsung, they're going out of their way to make proprietary features in their software. And it's like, do you think, Samsung, that honestly the majority of the population, now granted, the majority of the population does own an S3, but do you really think that people are going to be making those purchasing decisions based on, well, I have to be able to share my photos with my friends via S-Beam, so I've got to get an S3, you know, even though there's all these other options out there. It's just, it's starting to piss me off, really.
I mean, it makes sense. Basically, someone's got an iPhone, somebody else gets an iPhone. That I don't mind that FaceTime example, right?
Yeah.
But this is an Android device. Now, when I buy an Android device, I expect it to do everything else another Android device can do.
Yeah, from HTC or LG.
I know, basically, stuff like that, like sharing, I expect every Android device to do it. Now, granted, Android Beam is effectively what that should be, and Samsung made it better.
Yeah.
You know, I've noticed that's what they've done recently. All they've done is they've tweaked some of the major points of what Android is, like Android, you know, the Android Beam, and gone, well, hey, it's S-Beam, and now we use Wi-Fi and something that's like, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's cool in theory, but I just don't, sometimes it confuses me how other manufacturers just can't get it right. Yeah,
they try, but it just doesn't really pull through all the way. I mean, like the features are there, but getting back on LG, again, when they sent me that L5, you smart ass, when they sent me that L5 to review, I was excited to get it because I was expecting a lot more than, I wasn't expecting like S3 or Optimus G type phone, but my God, when I got in my hands, I was like, is this what you guys have been creating? I mean, like, if I was to take their L5, which is like their like bottom, almost, I think there's an L3 actually, but the L5, it was like a bottom entry-level phone, right? If I take that and compare it to some of Samsung's entry-level phones, like the Ace and stuff like that, oh my God, Samsung blows those phones out of the water for the same friggin' price.
Yeah,
you should have seen this thing. The resolution was terrible. The viewing angles, if you didn't have it completely directly square at your face, the colors and screen starts distorting. Like even if it's just a few degrees off.
That's the shocking part because obviously, as we all know, LG are one of the main contributors towards LCD technology. A lot of the iPhone screens are LG.
Yeah, yeah. Especially with their new HD IPS displays. I can't see why they wouldn't put at least something close. Like you've got the Optimus G with your HD IPS display, which looks absolutely phenomenal, right? Same thing on the Nexus 4. Yeah. But then on your lower entry-level phones, there's such a huge gap between absolute shit and really, really nice. There's no in between, and LG's really suffered because of like the lack of innovation and stuff like that. So like the Optimus G was a really cool phone. I really enjoyed playing with that. It had crazy long battery life. You put that thing on stand, but like when you put it to sleep, I don't know what's in the software. And again, this is getting back to like why you're paying more for the Optimus G versus the Nexus 4 is the software, right? I think it's worth it. Even that extra few $100. If you have the money, the Optimus G is just a beast of a phone, man.
I mean, there was been some questions in the chat while we were just basically bashing on LG.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm saying, is it worth? Is the picture worth the extra £100? Basically, would you pay the extra money, granted £100, $100, whatever it's going to cost, for the Optimus over the Nexus? So
that's a really good question. That's a really good question because with the Optimus G, if you leave it as is without perhaps root it, but without loading custom ROMs, because the second you load custom ROMs on that thing, you can kiss goodbye all of those optimizations that LG has
My question to you would be in terms of obviously you could stick a different version of Android on it, but I've noticed that as an example from the S3. Going from S3 ice cream sandwich to ice cream to Jelly Bean, it doesn't seem like that project butter's there as much because Samsung already optimized ice cream sandwich with TouchWiz enough to make it nice and fast and buttery smooth.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder, it's like, okay, there's Project Butter on stock Android is amazing.
Yeah.
But on a Samsung device,
good question. That's a good question. The Optimus G.
What exactly would you miss not having Jelly Bean? The only thing that comes to my mind is the expanded notifications because I don't use Google Now as much as people apparently do.
Yeah, I don't either actually. I don't either, but I also don't use expanded notifications, man. If I see it doesn't give me enough information. When I expand that notification, I basically want to see at least half of what I'm about to look at. But generally when I bring down my expanded notifications, it shows me maybe an extra email. It doesn't show me what's in the email. It just shows me what. I just don't find it very useful. So I'm like, fuck it. And I just click on it. And
so basically, for you, the advantage of Jelly Bean is not really there at the moment.
The advantage of Jelly Bean for me, as far as all the extra features, no. What I love about Jelly Bean, and where you will never see me touch another ICS device again, of course, unless another manufacturer sends me one, is because of the performance. I'll tell you right now, comparing performance between the Nexus 4 and the Optimus G. Although it may not be a night and day difference, it's noticeable. And although the Optimus G is more optimized for better battery and it looks better, the camera's better, all these other aspects are better, man, that Nexus 4 is smooth, dude. I mean, it is smooth. I have never once been, and I've tried before while running a game and then trying to do some stuff in the background, like some pretty heavy multitasking. No problem. It'll be like I'm still left with a gig.
The only problem I found when you do that, when you do true multitasking on the Nexus 4, is the battery dies even quicker. Like
it does, yeah.
It just dies.
Yeah, and that's the huge issue with it. And man, like this is what's really strange. Okay, so because I'm getting ready to do my final review of the Nexus 4, so I wanted to wipe it clean because I want to do some like images of it and shit. And I wiped it clean. Now the thing is that I noticed, because I wanted to get down to why is it eating up so much battery. Well, I noticed that various preloaded Google apps are actually using and waking the device with Google Maps. I noticed Google Maps was running for like 10 hours. Yep. I'm like, why are you running for... So I did a factory reset, and then before anything, I actually removed all the Google apps, Google Currents, Books, everything except for Maps and the Play Store. And now my battery's like twice the length. So so that basically tells me that Google's own value-added services are actually negatively impacting their own Google device.
Exactly. That's one thing. It's just annoying.
You know, it doesn't make any sense to me, and it blows my mind that. And it pisses me off even more because it's like, so you get this device, you're like, yeah, cool, Nexus, and then you're like, oh, my battery lasted me 8 hours.
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I've always thought, like...
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Yeah, well... yeah, that's one way of looking at it.
Had to.
I know, we gotta love the soundboard. I'm gonna have to start using this more often.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I think we've got like 26 people in the rooms watching at the moment on the live thing on YouTube.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna guess on YouTube. Hi to everybody again. Obviously, most people would hopefully probably know who I am. Sam from my channel here, formerly of Sam's Tech. Now it's just SJP.
Yeah.
Rebrand. And we have Jared here, which he does the Smoking Android channel on YouTube as well. So basically, as you can probably understand, a lot of Android on his channel, but he'll be doing other stuff in the near future as well, from what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if we've got any of the questions.
Yeah. Let's get some questions going on, folks.
Yeah.
We're looking in the chat right now.
I think some people were asking questions, and we just started
rambling,
mumbling on.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's go down.
Well, as tech nerds, we get pretty passionate about this.
We
kind
do.
of stuff,
Once we get talking, we just
man.
Nah.
Well, shit, you and I had a 5.5-hour Skype conversation the other night. That was pretty crazy.
We were meant to finish after 3, and then it was like hours later. It's like, ooh.
I mean, that is the epitome of geek rage right there. When you get into it, 5.5 hours later, we're like, oh my god, yeah, we should probably get going now.
Here we go. Right, this is one comment that's just come to head. I think it's from Roy. It says, what do we think of BlackBerry 10? It looks pretty cool. He thinks it looks pretty good. Definitely brings BlackBerry back into the 21st century. Do you want to go first? Or?
You know, BlackBerry 10. I mean, a lot of the big tech reviewers and throughout they're like, Pocket Now, as for one. John Rettinger over at Techno Buffalo and others. They're all really excited for it, but I think they're excited for it just because we haven't seen anything out of RIM for a long time, and again, this is just the whole like Christmas Eve excitement sort of thing going on, right? Like we know it's coming, we know it's going to be brand new, so of course everyone's excited to get their hands on it and see what it does. But let's face it, no matter what RIM tries to do now, BlackBerry, and as much as they're trying to market it towards consumers, nobody gives a shit about BlackBerry anymore. You want a phone? Now it's between iOS, Windows Phone devices, or Android. RIM is just gone. And personally, I'm not excited about BlackBerry 10. To me, it's like switching from Windows 7 to Windows 8. Who cares? It's something new, but really, is it really going to be that much of a jump? Is it really going to be that much more functional? What are you guys bringing to me? What kind of... I mean, you look at the how Android went from gingerbread to ice cream sandwich. That was a monumental update. I want to see what BlackBerry 10 brings to the table, and until I
agree. I mean, if he brings something to the table, I mean, from what I've seen, it looks nice. Got to be honest, I like. It seems to be pretty fluid. That's one thing I'm like, I'm really looking forward to. But my issue is that it's still a BlackBerry.
Yeah, it's still a BlackBerry.
I mean, I work, with phones on a pretty much a regular basis, not just with YouTube, but obviously selling them as well.
Yeah.
In terms of repairs, it sometimes seems like 9 out of 10 phones that come back in are BlackBerry phones. And that's because of the poor build quality. Now, BlackBerry used to be known as building amazing phones.
Yes, I was going to say that, yeah.
The last couple of years, it seems to they've gone off the chart, and now they build some of the worst built phones. The software's buggy, the buttons are always breaking, the charging ports seems to be a major issue I've heard of a lot of them. People coming going, the charging port's pulled out, and it's actually on the charger.
Really? Oh, no.
And this is not just one or two people. I'm talking maybe 10, 15 people have had the exact same problem.
It's almost as if they've taken some manufacturing cues from Samsung, not to trash Samsung too much, because I do love my Samsung devices, but, I mean, everybody knows Samsung isn't, they're known for all their cool, innovative toys. They're not known for build quality. You want to go build quality, we're looking at Motorola and HTC.
Yeah,
but,
on the Android, on Nokia, don't forget on Nokia.
No, that's right, Nokia is probably number one on top of that list.
Nokia.
It's Canada, shut up.
Nokia.
No, but BlackBerry, you know, their earlier devices, before, like I remember the devices. I can't remember the model number, but the device where they just went from like it almost looked like e-ink screens to like the color e-ink screens almost. Yeah. Those devices you could throw at a friggin' wall and it'll keep ticking. But their later devices, when they started using like that softer plastic, that glossier type plastic, that's when everything just went to shit. And if you're saying that people are complaining about their charging ports coming right into the device, something that's going to be used the most, that's where it's going to be the most amount of wear and tear on a device, is the charging port. And if you can't get that right, well, I start to question the rest of the device as well.
Exactly, and that's been the major issue, you know. Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to have a look at it, just to see what it's like, because I like new things. I mean, if they're rumoured that they're going to have the Android player, where basically it's going to have Android applications running inside BB10,
I think it's silly. Why the hell would, I mean, like, you know what? That's their that's another ditch effort that they're trying to kind of blanket out there to gain more popularity. But the thing is, why the hell would you do that when you can just go get yourself a bloody Android phone? You know? I
think with that is because people want... a lot of people just want a BlackBerry. I mean, I have people coming on a daily basis, and they go, I know it's rubbish, but I need it. I need it for this, I need it for that. I need it for BBM. And it's like, BBM sucks, get WhatsApp.
Yeah. That's my response to that, to everybody who has a BlackBerry. Just get WhatsApp.
Exactly.
Honestly, I still you know, everybody's got their own preference, and there's nothing wrong with somebody wanting a BlackBerry device. If you prefer their devices and their OS, that's totally okay.
It's like you know, you are Android through and through. You know, if somebody offered you an iOS device, you'd be like, get out of here. Yeah. Exactly the same with BlackBerry users. You know, we're all going to have different preferences.
Exactly.
It's just sometimes I wonder how you can justify needing the BlackBerry, because it's
quite honestly, and that's my main point is honestly, as far as BlackBerry is concerned, you know, again, you know, going back to, like, if you like BlackBerry, that's cool, but there's nothing that BlackBerry, other than their insane encryption, which really is only necessary for like high-level execs and so on.
Exactly, Jared. The smoking Android's not going to need it anytime soon. Let's be honest.
No, I don't. But you know, there's nothing that iOS, Android, I don't know about Windows Phone. I haven't much experience with that, but nothing that they can't do that, you know, that the BlackBerry can. You know what I mean? It's just.
I know exactly.
So I've noticed a question in the comments, and they're wondering about what we think of the new Sony Xperia Z or Z, depending on where you are.
That's from James, is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, James. I'm in two minds. I'm excited for it because I like what Sony have done with the software. You know, they've cut it down. They've made it very minimal. They've minimalized it. I can't say the bloody word now. It's very minimalistic in terms of what it used to be, and I like that. My problem is that I've played with an Xperia T, and as great a fun it is, this screen. Now, if you look at normal screens, you look at them and you look at them sideways, you can't see nothing on them.
Yeah.
When you look at a Sony screen, they've got loads of tiny little dots and tiny little holes in it. Now, I don't know why. I don't know. It must be the screen technology they use.
Yeah.
And apparently, on the Xperia Z, again, however someone wants to say it, it's meant to be crap.
Yeah.
You know, people are saying it's one of the worst viewing angles on a phone they've ever seen.
On the T or the Z?
On the Z.
Okay.
The T was okay. It wasn't the best. It wasn't in the leagues of like the iPhone or an S3. It was pretty decent, but it wasn't the best again. But
see, that's something that companies need to really concentrate on. That's the display. I mean, how could you fuck that up?
Sony should be good at that. Sony.
Yeah, with their Bravias and oh my god, yeah.
Them and Samsung basically control the LCD market.
Yeah.
Bar LG sell now and again, but majority of like TVs and like LCD.
Oh, it's Samsung and Sony for sure. Yeah.
Basically, Samsung own, like, I think it's like 52% of the factories on their own. But then with Sony, they've got like another 27% of the market share, and it's like, okay, why can't Sony use that similar technology?
Yeah, exactly. Why can't they get that right? Why aren't they adopting some of that technology into their mobile department? It's just, why these companies do some of these things is so confusing sometimes. They've got the technology there. Don't tell me you don't have the technology. I mean, know you do.
My issue with the new Sony is, don't get me wrong, I like glass, but I don't know if I want glass front, back, and the sides, top and bottom.
That was actually something I wanted to touch base on, was the hardware. Now, we're going to get to the power button in just a moment, because that's something I want to touch base on. But so basically, they were marketing, at least at CES, the Xperia Z to be like, oh, it's rugged, it's waterproof and blah, blah. So wait a minute, why would you make a device that's supposed to be rugged have front and back glass panels?
Yeah, but it's the sides as well.
Even like, where the and then they add the fact that it's waterproof of up to, like, what was it, like 30 feet or like 3 feet for 30 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, but that means nothing to me.
It means nothing to me.
I don't drop my phone in the bath every week.
Yeah, and the only way that I think that feature, the waterproof feature, would come in handy is depending on what you do for your lifestyle. Are you out, like, in construction? Are you outside a lot? Basically, is the only conceivable idea that I come up with. Where
someone's not going to buy a glass phone if they work in construction.
And that's it. That's exactly my point. Okay, so hey, I need a phone that's waterproof, so I better get the Xperia Z. And next thing you know, the entire thing's fucking cracked. Because of the guy's profession. It's just like they've taken something and added it to. It just doesn't make sense. The combination.
Exactly. That's my issue with it. I'm looking forward to playing with one. I'll be playing with obviously the title of this kind of hangout is Mobile World Congress and Randomness with You.
Yeah.
Basically, I'll just stick this out really quick before I forget. Is that I am going to Mobile World Congress. I'll be there on the 24th of February, which is in Barcelona.
Yeah.
I'll be looking forward to going out there, and all the new phones will be there. Obviously, we'll have all the new Sonys, all the new HTC M7, which somebody asked that, which we'll talk about in a moment. Nokia have got some good stuff that's going to be potentially coming out. Obviously, can't really say. Obviously, just rumours at the moment, but from what I know and what I've been kind of told and hit to the ground and whatnot, they're going to have a big Mobile World Congress, pretty big Mobile World Congress.
I think this year's Mobile World Congress is actually going to be pretty exciting. We know that companies like Samsung aren't going to be showing off any of their really cool stuff because they're, like we talked about in the past, these companies are wanting to do their own shows now so that nobody steals the thunder from them.
Yeah.
But I do think that this year we're going to see some pretty interesting shit. I'm pretty sure that we'll see, like, Sony with their Xperia Z. And
looking at the floor plan, it looks like Motorola are going to have a big, massive booth.
Oh, really?
Now, this could potentially, somebody else put this in the comments earlier, with regards to the Motorola X phone that it keeps getting jumped out there. Now, I'll tell you something. Give me, people probably say, shut up, Sam. Give me a Motorola built phone that runs stock Android.
Yeah.
Got a good camera.
Yeah. You'll be happy. Oh, so would I. I would sell something to get that phone, yeah.
Just for the fact that the build quality of Motorola phones is pretty damn spectacular. In terms of Android devices, there's HTC and Motorola.
Yeah.
The thing is with Motorola is they've always had crap software.
Yes.
Auto blur.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. Just get rid of it. Just stick stock Android, and you're owned by Google.
Yeah.
Forget about it. I know you keep saying, we're not going to give them favors. Give them favors. Make the super phone we all want.
Yeah. And with Google's gone on record saying we don't want to do anything with Motorola as of yet, specifically because they don't want to piss off their partners. But I think at this point, no one's going to be pissed off anymore. So
can you see Samsung coming to Google tomorrow going,
no, you let them build a Nexus phone, how dare you? We don't want to be your partner anymore. Shut up, Samsung.
Can you imagine?
You know how much money you've made off the S3 because of Android? Like, shut up. They don't care.
What's HTC? What's Samsung going to do? If they're going to sorry, we're not going to...
They're not doing a damn thing. They don't give a shit.
We're going to build Windows phones, or we're going to use Tizen, or we're going to build our own operating system.
Yeah.
No one's going to do that. The market share now is Android.
Yeah.
Or iOS.
Yeah. Windows and they know it.
Windows Phone's got a tiny little market share, and I would like it to get a bigger one because then we've got a bit more competition.
Yeah.
The problem is with Windows Phone is that I can't see it get into the hands of the everyday consumer.
Yeah.
It's only somebody that really wants it, or somebody that's been sold it in a phone shop. That's the impression I get. Again, I work in a mobile phone shop, and me trying to tell somebody about a Windows phone, they're not interested.
Yeah.
They all know about this Android. What's Android? What's a Galaxy?
I think Windows Phone. I think Windows Phone is going through the same thing that Android did in its infancy stages. You know what I mean? People were just like, "What the hell is this?" And I don't know.
Though, when Windows Phone 7 came out, I was like, "Whoa, I kind of like this. It's working very fast on shoddy hardware."
Yeah.
I had to play with the Lumia 800. I thought, bloody hell, it's an awesome device.
Yeah.
Running on crap hardware in terms of the internals. The hardware itself were great, but the internals was a slow processor, very low RAM, and they were like, "This is running fast. I can't wait to see what they do with it. It has potential." 7.5 came out. It has potential. Windows Phone 8's come out. It has potential, and I keep thinking, where's the progression? I don't see where it's going with it. It doesn't seem like it's got anything new.
There's no innovation, really.
I could not recommend a Windows Phone to anybody unless Nokia. Unless if Nokia didn't exist in the Windows Phone area, I couldn't recommend one at all.
Yeah.
If you want something that's going to have a good camera, you can have good support from the actual company, good build quality and a sat nav. With music, then a Nokia Lumia 820 or a 920 is a great option.
Yeah.
The problem is that some people don't particularly need that. And if you don't need the sat nav or the music and a decent camera, Windows Phone's not for it. I can't recommend it because the applications, as much as Microsoft want to go, they're coming, the top 43 of the 50's in there. Okay, where's the other 7?
Yeah.
Where's the 7 that matter? Where's Instagram? That's the big one for me.
Yeah.
Where's a proper Facebook application that's not built by Microsoft, that doesn't get updated as much as the official Facebook one does, because Facebook don't build it, you know?
Yeah.
No one wants to build Windows Phone applications, and that's the problem. You know, I like the Metro interface. I know it's not called Metro, but I like the way applications slide and all that.
I like it too, actually. It looks pretty sharp, yeah.
It's very fast, it's very fluid, it's very easy to use.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that no one is coming out there going, "Oh, we're going to build everything for Windows Phone."
Yeah.
Companies are just going, it's in the pipeline.
Windows Phone is boring.
The thing is, I see Windows Phone as like the bastard child of Android and iOS together. Right?
Yeah.
To put it bluntly, it's not as boring as iOS.
Yeah.
iOS's icons were here.
Yeah.
Windows Phone, at least you get a bit more customization. You can choose what you want to do, have a live tile and whatnot. But then Android's going to the extreme. Obviously, you can do anything with it, which I like having that control.
Yeah.
But if I had to recommend it to the average user, an iPhone or a Windows Phone, I would choose Windows Phone. The problem is if this user goes, "Well, I want a cheap phone."
Yeah.
There's not many cheap Windows.
Yeah.
There's not many cheap Windows phones in the market.
No.
The only one that's there is the HTC 8S, but that's still £220 in the UK, which in Canadian dollars we're talking like 300,
something like that. Yeah.
$300, which fair enough. You're getting a lot for your money, but people want a cheaper phone than that. They want to buy a Galaxy Ace for £100, $140 or something, whatever it might work out at. People want to buy a cheap phone for the kid. Currently, Windows Phone doesn't have them on the market. Windows Phone 7.5, I can go get a Lumia device today or tomorrow for £70.
Yeah.
But that's the old one. People want the new one, but for on the new operating system. There's no £100 smartphone on Windows Phone 8. You look at Android, I could probably name 7 straight off the top of my head. Go buy it tomorrow under £100, and they're going to do everything you want it to do and more. Windows Phone needs budget devices, and that's the issue that they're going to have going forward. Is trying to get a budget in because Microsoft asks for so much on licensing fees.
Yeah.
Android asks for nothing. Google asks for nothing. They don't want a penny.
Now, something somebody wanted to talk about in the chat was S4 rumors.
Oh.
There's already been rumors swirling around. Well, I don't even know if they're really rumors or so much confirmed rumors, but their new. Well, first of all, apparently they're going to be throwing in getting into the whole 440p DPI displays, but that their pixel shapes are going to be diamond shaped. And I think Brandon Miniman from Pocket Now actually made a comment saying, well, is that going to look strange when, say, for instance, you're writing on the device in a diagonal line, and it's going to look like it's a fucking staircase, going down your screen?
Will or will it not? Because it depends how. I'm going to guess it depends, because you got to think, if it's a square, 'cause obviously pixels are square, aren't there? Now a square going diagonal will be jagged. Think of it as a diamond next to a diamond. Next to a diamond is going to be super, super smooth.
Well, exactly. So that's why I was like, but I don't know. I mean, he was just making a comment, right? But so apparently they're going to be.
Think of it though, it could potentially be better.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, they're not going to be doing it for no reason. They're not going to be like, well, we're just experimenting with the S4, so we'll see what the consumer thinks, If it doesn't sell a lot of units, No, they're doing it because they've probably done some considerable testing. And
I just hope they don't use a nano SIM.
Oh, Christ, I know, man. I think that the micro SIM needs to be just a standard, just like the micro USB, because they went from, all of a sudden we go from, was it like 1 year of devices being pushed out with mini USB for the longest time, and then one day, boop, all these micro USBs come out, which means all of your friggin' chargers are now obsolete. Yeah. And I'm like, and that was like literally 1 year of mini USBs, and then all of a sudden the age of micro USBs came out. I'm like, dude, if they friggin' change this one more time, I'm gonna be so pissed off. Like, can we just please keep a standard at least for 5 years, and then kind of look at revising it from that point on? I mean, the whole nano SIM thing, that's stupid. They're getting ridiculous because people can't even hold it. It's hard enough to put a micro SD card in your friggin' phone because of how small they are. And now they're wanting to go to nano SIMs, and it's like, no, dude, no, don't get carried away.
Getting back to the S4 itself.
Yeah.
Screen technology itself, I'll be honest, as long as they use the 1080p. To be fair, I'm not bothered about 1080p personally. If it's there, I'll have it. As long as battery life's not impacted that much, I'll take it. Don't get me wrong. 1080p is going to be great. As long as they use RGB, that's all they need to use. As long as they don't use the pixel, the matrix, that's fine. It'll look amazing. But even at 1080p, even if they use the pixel matrix or the matrix the way it works, I won't mind because the 1080p will just make it look like it's fine anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure they'll have an RGB display. The
Note 2 uses it.
The Note 2 uses it, and actually, on the S3 launch, I managed to sneak an interview with the president of Samsung Canada and his counterpart, Nelson, who's like their marketing director guy. And so I asked him, I said, a lot of people are really disappointed that you guys went with,
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? And why you guys didn't go with the RGB? Is there any particular reason? And I put him on the spot there, and he's like, well, and he didn't really give me a straight answer, but I pretty much let him know, like, look, people are pretty pissed off about that, man. I mean, and so all of a sudden, poof, the Note 2 comes out, and we've got an RGB display. It's like they've listened to their consumers. We're going to see an RGB display, guaranteed. That's going to happen. I believe it's going to be 1080p. I mean, it has to be with that 440 DPI pixel density.
I mean, they announced the 1080p 4.99 inch screens at CES, didn't they? So.
Now, one of the big questions that a lot of people are asking is, are we going to see the first iteration of their flexible display? Personally, I don't think we are.
No.
It's too new. They just announced it at CES. I mean, yes, people have known about the flexible displays for a while.
The thing is, though, they didn't just announce it. They announced the prototype.
Yeah, exactly. We're not going to see it on the Nexus 4.
The new Exynos 5 processor, probably. The 4-on-4, the quoted 8-core.
I think we'll see that.
Which I kind of went, I think it'd be stupid if they do, which I still do personally.
Why?
Because I don't think you need 8 cores.
I don't think you need 8 cores either, but it's awesome.
It is, but for one, Android at the moment doesn't support 8 cores.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense using 8 cores.
Mm-hmm.
all they're doing is they're putting the current processor, because basically it's got 4 of the processors, it's in the S3.
Yeah.
And it's got 4 of the new processors, the A15s.
Yeah.
Now, personally, what I think they should have done is maybe just done the 4+1, which Tegra uses.
Yeah.
Is have one A9, because even one A9 processor is pretty damn speedy.
Yeah.
And then have 4 amazing cores. But, you know, it's all about marketing, because what all they've done is they've doubled it. But what are they going to do next year? Here's a 16-core phone.
Yeah, they're getting pretty ridiculous. No, I think that we will continue in the S4. I think we will see just a quad-core processor. However, this time it's going to be, they're basically going to put the Note 2 into the S4 is basically what I think is going to happen. They're going to take a quad-core processor that has LTE radio capabilities, throw in 2 gigs of RAM, and I think that's going to be it. And then the only real difference I think we're going to see this time, with the exception of probably some software enhancements, is that 1080p screen. That's what I think is going to happen.
I can't see them changing the design by that much.
No.
Not really.
No. And I think wasn't there a slideshow at the CES show during the Samsung keynote that showed something that basically told everybody, oh, this is what the next display is going to be like on the S4, which was the, I think it's like a 4.9 inch maybe? Was that?
4.99.
Yeah. So I think that's what we're going to see.
This is the funniest thing, is that Samsung decided to do 4.99, thinking that obviously HTC have done the Droid DNA 5 inches.
Yeah.
4.99 is going to be bigger. It's going to be smaller but a bigger pixel density.
Yeah.
But now with the rumours of the 4.7 inch 1080p from HTC with the HTC M7, which we're going to lead into next, that's kind of snookered them. To wrap up the S4 rumours, I can't wait for it. It's going to be fast. It's going to be slick. I'm looking forward to the new camera they're going to stick in it, because they're going to have the new Sony lens.
Oh wow! I didn't know that.
It's going to be 13 megapixel one. I could pretty much.
Holy smokes! I think that's the only way to go. Yeah.
Basically, people could come back to this video and go, Sam, you're wrong. But I can pretty much guarantee, nail-made, it's going to be the Sony Exmo R, I believe they call it, lens, which is in the current Xperia T, which is one hell of a nice lens. But Sony, for some reason, can't get their own software to work with the lenses.
Oh.
Apple and Samsung can do better software than Sony. With their lenses. But So, but anyway, leading into the HTC M7. Now, you've probably read up on the M7. What do you?
You know what? I'll be honest with you. I haven't been reading too much about it, just because it's just something that hasn't really interested me. I don't know. I mean, you got the Droid DNA. I was just like, okay, and then the M7's supposed to be basically the same fucking thing. So I was like, eh. But so I haven't really looked into it. What is it? What are the main key points of it?
Well, basically, the rumored features and the rumored specs. It's going to be a 4.7 inch 1080p display, which is just going to shatter everybody else's pixel density in terms of size. Because everyone's doing 5 inches 1080p, they're doing 4.7 1080p. So it's like bloody hell. 1.7 quad core Snapdragon S4 Pro.
Okay.
Wow. At 1.7 gigahertz, 2 gigabytes of RAM, 13 megapixel camera. It's going to have 32 gigabytes on board, no expandable memory, but 32 gigs, to be fair.
That's a lot. I
would find it that I could use 16 and not be okay with it. I'd be fine with it, in all honesty.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And with cloud storage these days, and that there's cloud storage players these days, put all your movies, songs, fucking everything on the cloud.
Now, the most interesting point that I found interesting, it's going to have an infrared port.
Man, are we getting back to that again? Like, good lord.
Now, apparently, I missed this. I must have missed it in the Sony press release that the Sony Xperia Z is going to have an infrared port. Now, do you know why? I think, well, from somebody said on Twitter, I was like, why? And I think somebody put on my YouTube channel as well. Is they're going to have it for one reason only. Is they're going to have an application that control your TV with your infrared. It makes sense. They're basically going to
Okay.
Here is one device
I'm digging that.
Does everything in your house. You've got a light switch that takes infrared. Your phone can control that with a free application.
Yeah. I like that actually, because there's all these different external adapters and devices and things like that you can plug into various appliances around your house. TV being one of them.
I've got one of these, a Harmony one, right? And because I control everything that I need to control via the one remote.
Right.
Now, if I could have it on that,
Yeah.
and not have that,
Yeah. You just open up an app, you know,
I
do
would
what you
use
need to
that
do.
all day long.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
that'd
like,
be sweet.
hell yeah. But as I'm going out, instead of having to find the remote to turn TV off, I just go, turn off. See you later.
And I can't imagine that it would actually draw that much, a lot of battery at all, because
Infrared, you would
the only
only
time
draw...
it's going to be using when you actually activate the infrared.
Exactly.
So technically speaking, that awesome feature will require little to no battery life. You know?
Exactly, and that's
Awesome.
That's a killer feature.
That'd be cool.
Seems like we're going backwards because, I mean, it's like 2008 last time I saw one on a phone.
Yeah. But at the same time, back then, I don't think we had the technology software-wise to really be able to control our TVs and whatnot with our smartphones.
Not to the
that did
extent
have
we can
infrared.
today.
Yeah.
I mean,
so now with today, you know, I think that's actually a feasible idea and pretty friggin' cool too. You know.
I mean, just want to point off. I'm going to come back to the M7 in a moment, but I just saw that one on from I think it's Dhruv Gupta. It says screen burn stops me buying a Samsung Super AMOLED device.
Yeah.
Now, I've never had an issue with screen burn.
Me neither. That's not to say that I don't know people that have had issues with it.
I don't know anybody.
I personally have never had an issue.
No. Now,
You know.
I did have the Desire, the HTC Desire, the original with the AMOLED screen, not the LCD.
Yeah.
That had burning,
Yeah.
but none of my Samsung devices have ever had burning.
Let's put it this way.
That was an AMOLED. That wasn't Super AMOLED. That was
AMOLED
normal.
displays, if your display is going to get burdened, that's because you're using your device a lot, and there's nothing wrong with that. Now, generally speaking, if your device is going to get that screen burden because of the amount of usage you put it through, it's going to happen within the time frame of the manufacturer's warranty, in which case a lot of the people that have told me that they have screen burn-in never actually go through with contacting the manufacturer being like, my fucking
Most
screen's
people
fucked.
don't.
Fix it, you know? And so
Yeah.
if you can't, I mean, like, not to put anybody down here, but you can't really complain about saying, I don't want to get an AMOLED display because it's going to have burn-in. Well, the chances are of it burning in is going to be within that first year. And if you're too lazy to contact the manufacturer to get it replaced because of a defect, and they're not supposed to do that for at least a couple of years, then it's kind of your own fault, and you're kind of like complaining to the wind, you know? I mean, yeah, like in a way, like Samsung should be manufacturing displays where every single one is perfect every single time, but that's not how the world works. And if you can't call them to be like, look, my screen's burnt in. I've dealt with all of these manufacturers, and their customer service is great. If you have a problem with an issue with their devices, they don't need you going to some bloody media outlet and being like, this is my experience with this defect, and Samsung refuses to fix it. They don't need that kind of shit storm on their heads, right? So they will do the best. I've called Samsung with issues in the past, and they're like, oh, yes, sir, right away, blah, you know, and I'm just like, wow, you guys are great. So as far as the Super AMOLED burn-in is concerned, yeah, that is a possibility, but I personally haven't had any problems, and the displays that I have seen burn in, it is so almost unnoticeable that for me, even if my S3 did get a burn in, I probably wouldn't even care because I probably never notice it, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, I've never noticed it ever. I mean, I've never had it, so I mean, obviously, I can't really. No, but anyway, getting back to the M7.
Yeah.
I can't wait for it. That's probably one of
that does sound pretty exciting. That does sound pretty exciting.
It's probably going to be the only phone in terms of Android that can take me away from a Samsung Android device at the moment.
Yeah.
Just for the fact that it's got everything and more. Because I like 4.7 to 4.8 inches.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't particularly want a much bigger phone than this.
Me neither. Me neither.
As cool as the Galaxy Note 2 is and the 5-inch phones are, I think this is just about right. Just about right.
And that was actually a point I was going to touch base on with that, is that I love that screen size. 4.7 inches on your Nexus 4. 4.8 on your Galaxy S3. Have you noticed
that the S3 screen seems so much bigger than the Nexus?
Yeah, I was literally just going to say that. You know, I play with this, and then I was like, oh, let's load some custom ROMs on this so I can get ready to do a review. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, God, man, that screen is just so awesomely huge compared to the Nexus 4.
And that's because of the on-screen buttons and the extra point one.
Yeah.
Obviously, the on-screen buttons take up like that,
Yeah,
put it
yeah,
down
exactly.
in.
Because like it's like, so here's the bezel, right? If you can catch it, like there's the bezel, and then like another row where my finger is the bloody on-screen buttons, and then you're left with just that for
Whereas
display, and it's
that,
like
it's your buttons.
it's all of
No.
it. Yeah,
Although
exactly. Now,
one thing
yeah,
I
go
don't
ahead.
like about the M7,
Yeah.
if it's going to be true, is they've put the home button where the back button will be on a Samsung. The home button's no longer in the middle,
Now, is it
apparently.
going to be a physical button?
No, capacitive.
Because if it's capacitive, it's not even on screen then.
No.
Oh, that's disappointing. Yeah, I think manufacturers really need to be very careful about their capacitive
Apparently,
button
there's a lot
placement.
of thought into it. There's been a lot of research, and apparently, it's better to be there.
I just can't see, like
No, I
like reaching. Oh, that's quite a reach. Even though it's closer, like in theory, we'll make it easier because that's the button that people press the most, right? So we'll put it right near your thumb. But quite honestly, having it so that you don't have to like crumple up your thumb to be like, yeah,
I just don't know if I'm going to be a fan of it.
yeah. But that size is perfect. The Note 2, man, that 5.5 inches, I was like, it's cool, like you said. It's just too friggin' big, man. I feel like a clown when I've been in the mall before when I was testing out the Note 2, and my wife was like in a changing room or whatever, and I got a call, and I picked it up, and I put it to my face, and I immediately realized and visualized in my head as I was doing it, me picking up this thing like that and going, I mean, it's covering 95% of my face,
Yeah.
and I felt so awkward. Now, granted, I am a little bit self-conscious about things at times, but I felt so awkward that I actually walked into the corner of the store to hide so that nobody could see me talking on this fucking VCR attached to my face. You know what I mean? Like, that's the size of it. It's like a friggin' VCR. It's like having a netbook to the side of your face. It was just, I felt like a goof, so I just...
It's a bit weird, isn't it?
It is a bit weird. Now, but see, I haven't had my hands on any of those just 5-inch displays yet. So I can't really comment on whether 5 inches might be a really good size because I haven't had time to test it out. And I mean, that's only another 0.2 of an inch bigger than.
Oh yeah, it's not like it's
three.
anything. It's not major,
Yeah.
but it feels it. It seems like it when
Yeah.
you're playing with it on a regular
Yeah.
basis.
Yeah.
And again, it's not just me that thinks that. Obviously, you've thought of it as well. It's just like,
Yeah.
just don't work for me, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah. What else we got here? I'm just looking in the chat. Nazerbs, sorry if I can't pronounce your name properly, asks, buy an Nexus 4 or wait?
Take that one if you want.
That is a very... Okay, first of all, if you have the patience to wait for availability of the Nexus 4, there's been rumors swirling around that the Nexus 5 is going to be out in like 4 months from now. That's a lie. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. If you were to get a Nexus 4 right now, you'd probably be safe with respect to that, at least for the next 8 months, I would imagine. I can see other Nexus tablets coming out and stuff, but I can't see another Nexus phone device coming out for quite some time.
I agree.
I
think they'll probably leave it to Google I/O.
Yeah, I think so too, and that's not till later on in the year, right? So,
Like, it's going to be in the 5th month in it now. I mean, apparently what they're doing is that for some people think they're going to do it in the 5th month. The Google, obviously Android 5, Nexus 5, it's going to be too hard for them to miss that opportunity up. All the 5s.
Yeah.
There we go.
You need to stop flashing your bloody lower third.
Yeah, it's because I lost it and I've tried to put it back. There we go.
Bloop, 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 bloop.
Yeah, no.
You know what? If you can wait, like, you know what? Here's a question for you. What device do you have right now? Like, are you happy with the device that you have right now? Does it do what you need it to do? Does it piss you off? I mean, I can see, like, if you're coming from a device that does everything you need it to do, but your experience with it has started to deteriorate, hey man, I am all for getting an Nexus 4 right away because you want to make sure that at least you're having an enjoyable experience. Because if you're not having an enjoyable experience, you're not enjoying your phone, and in your mind, your phone sucks, right? So of course, get the upgrade. However, if your phone experience is fine at the moment, honestly, I would wait. Unless you have to have the latest and greatest and you have pockets of cash, I would wait, personally.
Yeah. I
You know?
probably echo that statement as well.
Yeah, yeah.
God,
Let's see. Tegra 4 processor, 72 core GPU, is that what it was?
Something stupid like that, innit?
You know, I read an article somewhere saying that referring to a GPU with cores on a device isn't the proper way to look at a GPU processor.
It's probably not, but it's all marketing.
Yeah, yeah. 72 cores. You know, you're thinking to yourself, Jesus Christ, I could probably put, you know, Xbox and PlayStation 3 games on this thing. Just hook up a Bluetooth controller, I'm good to go. Yeah.
No, apparently, if you look at the...
Actually, that's a good point. With their whole NVIDIA Project Shield running a Tegra 4 processor that's capable of streaming, you're absolutely right. I'm going to swallow those last few sentiments. Yeah, a lot of it is marketing. The Tegra 4 looks like it's cool, but I have a huge issue with Tegra devices, namely the Tegra chipset, since the Atrix.
I just don't like them. I mean,
oh my god,
the HTC One X, probably one of the best built phones I have ever had. One of the sleekest, one of the nicest phones. I mean, it's got it here, you know. It is an amazing device. It feels nice.
It's a nice phone.
But the Tegra 3 processor lets it down. It's just a massive letdown. If this had a Snapdragon S4, if they do the Snapdragon S4, even the dual core, this, for me, I probably would have taken this maybe even over an S3.
Oh, really?
Dare I say it? Yes, because I like it. I like the way it feels. I've always liked the way the screen goes. You know, the edge of the screen is kind of got like that little banana kind of look to it.
Yep.
You know, it's kind of curved.
It's
It's all projection, but it feels like it.
Yeah.
And the camera's really nice. The front face of the camera's pretty decent. Video performance on it sucks, but...
My reason for not liking the Tegra device is a couple. First and foremost, all this THD app game marketing is bullshit. You know, there's a couple of hacks. You know, like Dead Trigger, that zombies game. There's a regular version, and then there's a Tegra version. Now, I don't know if you've seen any of the videos out there, but you go into, so if your phone's rooted, you can get into the some of the internal files, and you can change just a couple characters in a line of code that gives you the ability to actually have those Tegra effects in the game. I did that, and it operated perfectly fine. There was no lag, nothing. It performed flawlessly with the Tegra HD graphics.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking to myself, this Tegra thing is all just marketing. I mean, there's no difference. I mean, there's going to be differences, obviously physical differences, but really, there's no difference between an Exynos or a Snapdragon or a Tegra device. It's just NVIDIA's gone to these these game developers and said, we're NVIDIA. You guys know us because you probably develop your games with our video cards in your computers. So we'll make you a shitload of money by marketing this to have two different versions so that we, on non-Tegra devices, you disable that line of code, and on Tegra devices, it automatically gets enabled, and people get to see extra graphics. It's stupid.
Now, did you say you have used chain files? Chain files hack?
Oh yeah, I've used that in the past.
Basically, it tells the Tegra, basically the Tegra game, that you're using a Tegra device.
Yeah. That was one. I didn't really have much luck with that, actually, but so I just did it manually, went into the column dot something or whatever, and it like changed a certain value. It was like 0 to 3 or something like that, and then I restarted and then played the game, and it was like bloop, there's all the wicked graphics, and I'm like, thank you, NVIDIA, for totally ripping everybody off and making them think that, you know. Now, the other main issue I have is because, you know, my channel's Android related, I like to do a lot of ROMs and themes and shit like that. My experience with the Motorola Atrix with the Tegra 2 was just, I could not wait to get out of the device. I was so excited when I had it, but I couldn't wait to get the hell out of it because ROM development, any sort of development, is pretty much extremely limited because NVIDIA refuses to release their driver sources. So nobody knows what the hell they're doing. They're just doing the best they can, but nothing's ever complete. ROMs are always unstable. You know, they still don't have Ice Cream Sandwich working flawlessly on, like, if you go to the Atrix 4G development forums on XDA, all those ROMs that are like now a year and a half old that are still being worked on, they're not stable. They suck. I'm sorry to say it, but they suck. And now they're already moving into Jelly Bean ROMs, which are even friggin' worse. I mean, like, Jelly Bean ROMs for the Galaxy S3 are still super duper buggy, like I was mentioning to you before. That Super Nexus ROM that I flashed, I was having all kinds of issues with it, right? Tegra devices are nothing but a friggin' headache, and I think are made specifically for people who just don't want to mod their phones. Yeah. If you don't want to mod your phone, get a Tegra device. If you want to do anything with modding, get anything other than a Tegra device, you know?
Yeah, I've noticed that. Try to mess around with the Tegra 3. You can do a little bit more with the Tegra 3, but it's still very limited in what you can do to, let's say, an Exynos or a Qualcomm.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Somebody put in the chat just then, James, it says 32GB Nexus 10 is back in stock in the UK. Should I order it now or wait for the Xperia's tablet Z?
I personally, if I had the money, I would go with the Nexus 10.
If it's me, get yourself an iPad.
And actually, if I could just refine my answer to that, didn't they say, or at least it's expected to be announced at Google I/O, that they're going to be having the Tiger 4 in the Nexus 10 or something? Something new is going to happen to the Nexus 10?
Oh, I don't know. I hope not.
Man, I'm pretty sure I've been reading.
That uses the dual-core A15 from Samsung currently.
Right. Yeah, I swear I read something about that. I could be imagining things, but I'm pretty sure I read something that they're going to be swapping out the processor in it. And I was like, well, that's kind of strange. So you're going to have two different versions of the same tablet? Okay.
I can't see him doing that, but it wouldn't shock me in all honesty.
Yeah. The Nexus 10, I think, is awesome. And then, of course, you also get, because it's an Android tablet and it's a Nexus device, you also get the constant, steady updates first from Google.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously I joked. I wasn't joking around. I would still recommend the iPad to people wanting a tablet computer, personally, just for the fact that, for me, a tablet needs to be productive. You need to have a good productivity tools. Android still lacks in tools for a tablet computer. Yeah. All you get is big blown up phone applications. Now, if you're looking to get an Android tablet, get yourself a Galaxy Note 10.1, because then you can run phone applications, but you can run 6 of them at once.
Yeah.
With the multi-view, which then makes sense. Or run 4 of them, or 2 of them, whatever you want to do.
Good point.
It's not a big blown up phone application that was designed for a 4-inch device.
Yeah.
On a 10-inch device, it's massive resolution.
Yeah.
It looks like shit. Run 4 of them, 4 smaller ones. It's like running 4 little phones on your screen, 4 little ones.
Good point. Good point. Yeah.
Currently, Android's still not ready for tablets. I've been saying it for years. The Nexus 7 kind of works because it's like a big phone.
Yeah.
But a Nexus 7 still is blown up phone applications.
Yeah.
And that's why it's still. I always recommend. I can only recommend an iPad. Yeah. People don't like me for it. People go, Sam, you hate Android because you say that. Yeah, of course I do. I've currently got like 5 Android devices around me.
Yeah.
I hate Android. Basically, I go, what's the best at the market?
What works? Yeah.
For a tablet.
It all comes down to experience in the end, you know.
There's no applications that are ready for tablet. There's only a couple that, because the way Android's developed, from what I've been told, you can't have a tablet application and a phone application within one, and it knows how to switch from one to the other.
Yeah.
Apparently it just doesn't work like that. You've got to have your tablet version, your phone version. I don't want that. I want one application. I want it like iOS. I want just one application to do everything.
Yeah, no, exactly. I agree.
No.
And Dave asks, where'd you get your hats, Sam?
I get them from eBay.
There you go.
£10. So about 14, 15 Canadian dollars, I think we worked out at. It's about
about $10. Yeah, 10, $15.
Yeah. That's free delivery as well.
Sam and I are both actually hat connoisseurs, so just so you all know. I'm just not wearing one right now.
Yeah, we had a bit of a hat off over there.
Yeah, we're showing each other our stack of hats. That's pretty funny.
It was a little weird, wasn't it? But yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions? How many people do we even have
just had one
watching?
for you.
Huh?
Someone just asked you a question.
Oh.
It says, is that a fixie?
What's a fixie? I don't even know what that is.
God knows.
Are
What's
you
a
talking
fixie?
about that thing? That thing right there?
To be fair, he is Scottish. Oh, I'm only joking, dude. I'm only
To be
joking.
fair, he's always...
A single speed bike.
I need to know what a fixie is. I can't answer that.
It says it's a
fixie's
single speed bike.
No, man. It's
A tripod.
a tripod. I don't know where you got that from, but close.
Zen, what are you playing at, fella? What are you playing at? It's a tripod. Guys,
Anyways.
he's like, what?
What else have we got on the roster?
So James says, I wouldn't touch an iPod, Android all the way.
Yeah.
I would agree in terms of a phone, but you want to know with regards to tablets. And Android is not ready for a tablet. If you want a 10-inch tablet, forget about Android. The applications are crap. Again, I love Android as much as the next person. And they look at all the Android videos on my channel. But the fact of the matter is, it just sucks on a 10-inch device. If you didn't use applications, then yeah, it's great. The Google applications work fine. But third-party apps, it's the reason why I find it hard to recommend Windows Phone 8 because of lack of apps.
Well,
And
I think
says you need applications nowadays.
I think what might be contributing to that problem is the fact is, and again, comes down to Android fragmentation. You know, there's way too many devices for these developers to develop these applications to be compatible, because that's extra coding. Every different display size needs extra coding, and so you know you're going from these and when developers develop an app, they're like, okay, well, we obviously want to develop it for the masses, so we're going to go with between 4 to 5-inch displays, and they create it, and that's enough work as it is. And then all of a sudden you get these 7-inch tablets, 10-inch tablets, 10.1s, 8-inch, 11. Oh my god! And then these developers are like, you know what? Screw all that. I'm just going to develop it for a set amount of screen sizes, and if it doesn't work for them, if I get enough complaints, then maybe I'll start migrating the coding in there. And that's the problem. Whereas with iPad, those developers, they only have to worry about, 3 different screen sizes, I think, right now? The iPad mini, the friggin' something, and the something else. Just 2.
iPad mini, because it's same resolution as the iPad 2.
I mean, imagine how easy that would be on a developer, I mean, it just saves his life. Plus, he knows it because there's 14 billion people out there that have an iPhone that it's going to become successful regardless, right? Whereas Android, the problem with the Android Play Store is that there's so many shit apps that these developers, they're doing their best to make the app compatible with the majority of phones out there. The fact of the matter is...
but they're making it rubbish at the same time.
Well, that's the thing, because I don't think they know the potential of their application, and I don't blame them. I work with a lot of app developers and helping them design the UIs and shit like that, and a lot of these app developers, their applications just never get recognized, and they're fantastic apps, and they'll do a review on it, and they'll go from 100 downloads that the app's been on the market for a month, and they've got maybe 100 downloads, probably from friends and family, and then I'll do a review, and it'll just they'll get 5,000 downloads. And they're like, oh, wow. And then all of a sudden, when they start seeing those downloads, you start noticing updates coming out more frequently. Every week, there's a new update to the UI, to the functionality, the settings menus, and so on. And it's because these guys, they just... Hey?
I mean, I'll tell you what a problem is with a lot of Android developers that I've found is they just port the iOS version. They don't build it from scratch. They go, here's our very popular iPhone version or iPad version, and you're going to like it on an Android device, clearly, because who cares what you think? Yeah. Whereas when you see an application that's built from the ground up on Android, something like Falcon Pro, or any of the Google applications, where it's got the side swiping, part of the Holo
UI, yep.
However you want to say it, they're amazing applications. They're fast, they're slick. one of the recent applications, I use Voxer. Don't know if you've heard of it.
Yep.
Basically, it was a copy of the iOS version. Took a major update. They just updated it, and it's now awesome because it's nice.
Yeah.
It's got side swiping. It's built on the core foundation of an Android application.
Yeah, right, right.
It now works. Before, it didn't always work. Now it just works flawless.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Viber is one of the worst applications ever. It's just a carbon copy of the iOS version. They built it from the ground up using the Android framework. Great. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I've not done it.
That's the trick is for iOS app developers who are trying to port their device, their applications over to Android. They're not. And that's the thing. They can't port it because by trying to port it, it's impossible, or at least next to impossible, to follow the Holo UI guidelines.
I mean, I mean, obviously Instagram. I'd like them to build a proper Android application because effectively, I still think of that as an iOS clone, but it doesn't follow the whole iOS guidelines with these smaller bars. It is a little different, so I can kind of see why they've kept it.
Yeah.
I would still like a proper Android version. That's built on the base of Android, not kind of a carbon copy.
Yeah. No, they definitely. And again, this all goes back to iOS just being popular. Now Android owns most of the market share, but a lot of these developers started out developing for iOS because why? Because iOS is successful, and if you put your app on the iOS on the App Store, there's a really good chance you're going to make a shitload of money, and it's going to get recognized right away. So they go there first, and then from that point on, they say, okay, that was a success. Let's start looking at the next mobile platform or the next mobile OS to start developing your app for. Now, the trick is, do these guys want to be lazy and just port it over to try and make a quick buck on Android, or are they actually going to do it right this time, take Android seriously like a lot of developers are these days, and actually start following the actual Holo UI guidelines, develop it from the ground up with actual Android code and so on.
Yeah, there we go. We've got the Unit 3, also known as iGlaswegian, and he's put iOS equals win. Discuss.
iOS equals win?
I agree. iOS on a tablet computer just seems to work because I use my iPad for productivity. I don't use it. It's not just a consumption device. I use it to reply to tweets. If I'm doing a serious just tweeting, I'll use my iPad. If I'm replying to comments sometimes, or if I'm watching something, I like doing it on the iPad. It just seems to work. Whereas Android, yes, don't get me wrong, it's okay on a tablet, but they're blown up phone applications. There are a couple, don't get me wrong, but there's none that captivate me, that make me go, wow, that is a great a tablet application on Android. Whereas on the iPad, there's dedicated applications.
Yes, and that's because of Apple's strict guidelines. Though they're like, look, if you're going to make it for our crappy little 4-inch display, and then you want to make it another one for the tablet, you're going to have to completely redo it and make sure that it fits it perfectly. And these guys are like, well, we made $100,000 on the iPhone app. We may as well do a good job with the tablet app as well, right? So
the iGlaswegian, also known as Zen, or the Unit 3, however he wants to be known as, it looks like he's might be interested in Windows Phone 8.
Windows Phone 8, oh yeah.
Because I can see why people would go from iOS to Windows Phone. I can't see many people going from Android to Windows Phone. Not as many anyway, but a lot of people who use, let's say, iOS, they like it simple. I'm not being offensive here, but they like it simple, like it nice and clean, and it works.
Yeah.
And I was saying in regards to the bastard stepchild, it's getting closer to Android because it's a bit more customizable.
Yeah.
But it's not quite there. It doesn't have the same customization, but it has a lot more than iOS has to offer.
Yeah.
It's as smooth and as slick as iOS.
Yeah.
That's why I can see people going to Windows Phone from iOS, but I can't see many people going, oh, look, I'm going to go from my Galaxy 3 device to, dare I say, a Lumia 920 device, because you lose all that customization, and most people like that.
Yeah.
I love it. But I could see myself going to Lumia device, the 920, if it had a true notification center. That's the one thing that Windows 8 is missing. Windows Phone 8, sorry.
Right. Well, as far as the whole Android's concerned, and I'm sure that we'll start seeing a trend like this happening again for down the road for Windows Phone, but a lot of people, a lot of the market research statistical reports lately have been saying that teenagers have been switching from iOS to Android because iOS is fucking boring, and then you look at Windows Phone 8, and I don't think Windows Phone 8 looks boring. I think it's clean, it's slick. Yeah. It's honestly, I think it's a really nice balance between Android and iOS. A lot of people think Android's complicated.
I was kind of shocked that somebody could bring something out that wasn't like because obviously when we get down to the nitty-gritty stuff, iOS came out with applications. When Android came out, it effectively was just a lot of applications, but in a drawer.
Yeah,
they were very, very similar. Android has the the customization. You can have your widgets, which is cool.
Yeah.
Whereas when you think it's like, okay, someone needs to design a brand new mobile OS that doesn't look like it's meant to be a clone of Android. It's not a clone of the iPhone, but Microsoft nailed it in terms of something that's completely different, but yet so easy to use and understand. They nailed it on the head. I was like, fair play, Microsoft. You took your time with it.
Yeah.
Well, I can see why, because you've nailed it. You've done a bloody good job with Windows Phone.
Yeah, it does look slick. It does truly look slick.
Fast.
Now, Unity, or the Unit 3, in the chat here, says that he had his eyes on the Galaxy series of devices. Was going to get an S3 a few days ago, but then heard stories of the S4 launch in March. I'll tell you right now, if I were you at this point in time, do not get the S3. It's too late in the game for that. It's just too late in the game. The S4 is literally just around the corner.
Especially Europe, because we'll get the S4 before anybody
first.
else.
Exactly. And
It's
so, yeah, look at
Scotland,
you,
so...
punk-ass smile on your face, you shithead. No, he's like, we'll get the S4 first, just saying. No big deal or anything.
Well, let's be honest. They always gets launched in basically the UK is pretty much one of the first markets. Samsung, because what Samsung do is they use the UK as a test market.
Yeah.
What
I'm concerned about though is that they're going to do the same friggin' thing they did last time. I don't think they will, but I'm really concerned that they're going to be like, oh well, we've got the international version that has a quad-core 1 gig of RAM, and then we'll give the North Americans something completely fucking different. And that pissed me off because there's more fragmentation. I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah.
They had a reason for it, and I can understand why. It's because basically they didn't work together properly.
Yeah.
But that's why when they brought the Note 2 out, it did. Same processor, but they got it working. Yeah. So the next one, LTE is basically built straight into the chip. So instead of having to get it to work, LTE is effectively inside the Exynos 5 processor. Yeah. There should be no problems there at all.
Yeah. Whereas I believe previously the LTE chip was actually a separate part.
Yes.
That sat next to the
processor.
Yeah, so now they're like, let's just fucking integrate it all into one unit and call it a day. What, you guys couldn't have thought about that like before you launched the friggin' device? Anyways, so I don't think we'll have that issue. I think that as far as that's concerned, fragmentation on that specific device will be like non-existent. We'll all have the same device across the board. I just hope that we don't. I mean, if you look at the different models of the S3 right now, there's like 4 or 5, maybe 4, maybe 3 or 4. The i9300, the i7 something fucking rather, and then the i305, like the Japanese
ones I know
version.
about. I know of 3 that I can say of. There's the American version, the international version, but then there's the international, what I class as the international plus version, which is basically the international version with LTE and 2 gig of RAM.
Yeah.
But then there's the one in South Korea that has a TV tuner in it as well.
Aha, that's right. So 4 different versions.
Square.
Yeah. Like, what are they, seriously, man? Like, come on, Sammy. Can we just please have one friggin' device worldwide so that collectively the community, at least the development community, can be working with the same friggin' thing and we can do some amazing... Imagine every developer because the Galaxy S3 International version, man, I mean, I know, Sam, you've got the i9300, and you go into the development forums on XDA, every single of the top developers for Android on XDA are in that forum, are in the S3 i9300 threads. Now, can you imagine what it would be like to have both North American and international developers on one friggin' device? Oh my God, you guys would see some amazing shit coming down the pipe. So I'm hoping that's what happens this time. I'm hoping at least for the UK and for North America, it's the same device, so that we can see this type of synergy take place. Now, as far as the S4s, and that's what I think will happen with the S4. So, I wouldn't get the S3 right now. You'd be an idiot because the price is still $550, $600.
Yeah, he also asked with regards to obviously the Europe gets it first.
Yeah.
Yes, then Europe pretty much gets, well, the UK does. I don't know about like other parts of Europe, but yes, grin on my face again. But yes, we'll get the S4 pretty much first. We'll probably one of the first batches to get it in the whole of the world.
Yeah.
And generally, if you want to get it off contract, you can probably get it from Amazon, but get it from somewhere like clove.co.uk. That's what I'd probably recommend.
Yeah.
I
actually, where did I get mine from?
If you want to get it on launch day, you might have to get a contract because sometimes they're hard to get SIM free straight away.
I think I got mine from Handtech. Handtech.co.uk. Yeah.
Handtech. There's Handtech, Clove. That's another one I used to have.
There was another one. They're actually pretty big, but in my opinion, they rip people off.
Expanses.
Expanses. Scammers. Well, they're not scammers, but they don't do business very well. They charge extra for shipping, blah, 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 blah. The shipping method sucks. It takes too long. I really had a shitty experience with them, and I actually ended up switching over to Handtech, and I had a really great experience with them. Literally 24 hours. It's like, oh, your device is just shipped today. I'm like, awesome. I woke up the next morning, the guy was banging on my door with my S3. I was like,
for you actually, Negri Electronics. Don't know if you've heard of them.
Negri, now I've heard that. I gotta look that up.
Now they're currently selling the HTC Butterfly for $800.
That's a lot of money.
It is, but they've got them. Play.com probably will sell it, Zen, but my recommendation is if you're going to order one, I probably wouldn't recommend Amazon actually, because Amazon had a massive problem with the S3 in terms of getting it shipped out. If you want one SIM free, then probably Clove, Handtech, those kind of websites. Play might sell them. So UK website is that, Jared, play.com.
Yeah.
But yeah, you might find it difficult. Your best bet will be a contract if you definitely want one on launch day. If you want one a couple of weeks later, you'll be able to get one from Amazon and stuff like that.
Yeah. You want to know something interesting that I found the other day, actually, a little bit off topic? There's a website called geekbuying.com, and they've recently... I know. And they've recently opened up a section on their website that sells imitation Android Galaxy devices. They've got fucked up names, but you'll get they have quad core devices. They have dual core devices, mostly dual core devices, 2 gigs of RAM, 1 gig of RAM, and they are literally S3 and Galaxy Note 2 and iPhone. Fake phones, but they're all running like Android ice cream sandwich, jelly bean.
Right, you're gonna find this hilarious. Obviously, as you know, I work in a mobile phone shop.
Yeah.
A woman brought her phone in, and first thing I saw, I was like, "Oh, looks like a Galaxy S3 Mini. Looks like it's a bit old though. Yeah, it's a bit weird." So she gave me. I had a look at it, and I'm trying to play with it. It's like I can't. She's like, "Oh, I can't get the messages working." First thing I noticed on screen is that it's got an old Android application market. I'm like,
really?
That's a bit weird, and it says messages underneath it. It's okay, so I pressed menu, try to get to settings, and it won't work.
Yeah.
What's going on here? So I had a look through it, and it looked just like Android. I'm thinking, okay, so I'm tapped into the application store and with the messaging application. Thinking, oh, this is really weird. What's going on? I had a look on the back of the phone, and I noticed it had like a black sticker that had been kind of bolted onto the phone.
Yeah.
It said Samsung.
Okay.
On the front of the phone, the phone was white. This is the weirdest thing. Then I realised that the Samsung logo also was like black tape that said Samsung on it.
Okay.
But basically, it was a copy phone, but trying to pretend to be Android. Android.
It wasn't even Android?
No.
No way.
It was a homebrew like crap operating system.
Whoa.
Hang on. If you're gonna make a fake device, you can at least stick Android in it.
Yeah, totally.
It's free.
Totally. Yeah, it's free. They'll give it to you for free. Fucking too funny, man. That's pretty funny, yeah. So I thought it was interesting when I found that the other day. I'm like, whoa, cool. I'm like, oh. Now, these ones are actually running Android. and and I think the prices are around like between 200 to 250 bucks. So I mean, like if you're really looking for a super cheap ass Android phone, there's a good site for you guys to go check out. Geekbuying.com. Not being sponsored, I don't even know them, but I thought it was funny. I've always wondered where everyone got their fake phones from. I'm like, where the hell do these people get these phones from? And then
the Smoking Android is sponsored by geekgadgets.com.
Yeah. You see this thing roll across the screen. Get your fake Galaxy S3 for $150.
I mean, I actually love. I so watch use all these things all the way through it.
All right, that's
kind of went well with the face actually.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? Oh man! But this is what I think about this is what happens when I think about the S4.
But no, I mean this year in mobile tech's going to be pretty fantastic. You know,
it is. I think it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I mean last year was meant to be the year of phones.
Yeah.
This year is going to be the year of phones again.
I think last year was the launching point for 2013. I think 2012 it was like companies were like, this is what we can do. This is what you can have to look forward to. This is sort of our starting base of the future. You know, you guys are gonna be amazed. Check out our S3. Check out our HTC One X devices and shit like that. People were like, holy shit, these are some nice phones. 2013's around the corner, is now here, and all these new devices around the corner. We're going to see a lot of them at Mobile World Congress, and as well as these manufacturers' own personal shows that they're going to be putting on, keynotes and stuff like that. I think we're really going to be impressed, and obviously 2013 is the year of 1080p devices, 1080p displays, and it's just going to look awesome. Yeah.
I mean, for anybody that's either just jumped in now or that's got to this point in the video and you didn't realise what, obviously the title of it is Mobile World Congress and Randomness, with obviously the Smoking Android Jared there. Yes, I'll be going to Mobile World Congress. So if anything you want me to cover while I'm there, email me, viewers@samjpullen.com. Leave a comment in this video. If you did like this video, if you're still watching now and you've not liked the video, do hit the like button. It is very much appreciated. We do appreciate it. One of my favourite ones is good old tickling that like button. Or obviously with Jared being green, you can Hulk smash it. One or the other. Hulk smash. But yeah, I'll be in Barcelona. So yeah,
lucky bugger.
Checking all the new stuff out. Hopefully, get my hands on a couple of new stuff. I should do. Basically, last year I got my hands on everything. I just didn't get as much video as I should have done.
I'll give you $100 if you put on a mask like a Mexican wrestler mask and streak through the show floor just once. I'll send you $100. But it has to be recorded though. I can't just be you going off your word. I want to see Sam J. Pullen streaking with a Mexican wrestler mask across Mobile World Congress. Maybe even do a little hump of one of the booth babes or something like that, just to add some spice to it.
Now, to be fair, I'll probably do the humping with the booth babe, but I don't know about.
No, okay, just throwing it out there. Throwing it out there. No, okay.
It's worth a try. But yeah, Mobile World Congress this year has moved. It's in Barcelona still, but it's at a new location. It's the first time they've moved in like 8 years or something.
Wow.
And looking at it, because the main ones I'll be looking at will obviously be probably Samsung, Nokia, Motorola, HTC, but all in one room where I'm going to be looking at, because I'm going to generally be there with Nokia. There's Nokia, there's Motorola, there's Samsung, ZTE, ZTE, Huawei, Intel. They're all in the same hall, just them companies. So that's hall number 3. That's the hall I'll probably be in more than other ones, because that's the one that's got all the good places. Yeah, I've already done my research. But yeah, so I'll be there. I'll be at Mobile World Congress again. Anyone that wants to see anything in particular, then do let me know. I'll be having a MacBook Pro unboxing on my channel soon, because I'm buying one to take out to Mobile World Congress.
Sweet.
So I need to decide which one I want to buy. If I want to buy a Retina one or a normal one. But we'll see. But yeah. How long have we been doing this? How long has this one been going for now?
I think an hour and a half or something like that. I should probably get going because I still have a video to do myself. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Anyway, we'll wrap it up now then. I want to say thank you to Jared from the Smoking Android. He's going to plug himself now.
You can follow me for anything Android related, that being everything from device reviews, unboxings, ROM reviews. Unfortunately, we can't unbox ROMs. I can show you how to install them from time to time. We do a lot of app reviews as well, useful app reviews every Monday, and so it's top 3 useful apps of the week every Monday, and top 3 games of the week every Thursday, and I do have some sort of filler content in between if I get some products from other companies, things like that, little accessory reviews. So, yeah.
Cool. So yeah, you can check him out on YouTube at the Smoking Android, on Twitter at just Smoking Android on Twitter, I believe.
Yep.
Google Plus, the Smoking Android, Facebook,
The Smoking Android.
There we go. All the plugs in the world.
That's right. Yeah.
And obviously everyone should hopefully already know who I am. If you don't, then why not?
Sorry, your name was?
Dan.
John, nice to meet you. My name is Jared.
There we go.
Nice that we're formally introduced to.
Hopefully people that have watched this one hopefully know who I am. If not, obviously follow me on Twitter at samjpullen. If you like the video, do hit the like button. It is always appreciated. Obviously I'm on Facebook, Twitter. I'm all over the place. Everywhere you can think of, samjpullen. I've got that down to a T.
I'm just seeing purple everywhere.
Pretty much. Purple, and I'll be turning to red at some point as well in the future.
Follow the purple and you will find Sam J. Pullen.
Exactly. And I also want to say thank you to everyone that has come out to watch it. Obviously I can't name everyone that's been there, but yeah, I want to say thanks to everyone that has watched. And yeah, we're gonna get off now, and we will I'll see you in the next video. Cheers everyone.